Thanks for being here. We've been talking about drift, not failure, drift, and drift happens quietly in systems. Especially when the environment changes. We restore direction not by blame, but by design. Now let's get more practical, because revitalizing Agile isn't just philosophical, it's structural. It's how we build squads, it's how we build chapters, it's how we design daily life inside engineering. Let's start with squads. One of the most powerful things you can do when forming a squad is not just ask, do we have the right technical skills? Ask instead, do we have the right learning balance? You want a mix of experience levels, a strong technical anchor, a rising engineer who is hungry, someone detail-oriented. Someone systems-oriented, someone who asks uncomfortable questions, not because diversity looks good on paper, but because friction at the idea level produces better architecture. Anecdotally, some of the healthiest squads I've seen had one person who loved process clarity, one who loved experimentation, one who loved domain detail, and one who naturally connected people socially. When those strengths are acknowledged openly, synergy stops being accidental. Now here's something subtle that works. At squad formation, ask each member to share two things, one strength they bring, one area they want to grow. You don't just build a delivery team. You build a development environment, and growth energy is contagious. Now let's talk about chapters. Chapters are where craft lives. If squads deliver, chapters refine. But chapters often become status meetings instead of skill accelerators. Here's an anecdotal practice that shifts that. Instead of chapter meetings being updates, make every second chapter session a show your craft session. Someone walks through a pull request they're proud of. Someone explains a bug they solved and what they learned. Someone shares a new testing technique. Craft pride builds energy, and energy builds output. Another practical suggestion: create temporary micro-chapters around emerging needs. If 3 engineers are experimenting with a new framework, form a 4-week working circle. Let them own it. Let them report back, then dissolve it. Chapters don't need to be static structures. They can be living learning clusters. Now let's talk about leadership rotation. In healthy squads, stand-up isn't reporting upward, it's coordination sideways, so rotate facilitation. But here's the nuance: don't surprise people with it. Publish a rotation schedule. Let people prepare. Some personalities thrive on preparation. That clarity builds confidence. When someone facilitates for the first time, debrief privately afterward, not critique, coaching. Over time, hierarchy flattens naturally. Now here's another anecdotal lever that works surprisingly well. Not code reviews, not urgent bug fixes, curiosity. What are you building? What's hard right now? What would you do differently if you started again? 30 minutes, once a month. It sounds simple. It rebuilds weak ties fast, and it's inexpensive. Now let's address inclusion more concretely. In globally diverse teams, communication norms vary. Some engineers speak up immediately. Others prefer to reflect before contributing. Some interpret silence as agreement. Others interpret it as disagreement. So here's a small adjustment that goes a long way. In retrospectives, after asking a question, give silent writing time first. 2 minutes, everyone types thoughts privately before open discussion. You level the field between fast verbal processors and reflective thinkers. That one practice increases contribution diversity dramatically. Another anecdotal tactic: if you run social activities, rotate the format. One sprint it's a quiz, another sprint it's a technical lightning talk, another sprint it's a what's something non-work you learned this month, another sprint it's nothing at all. Variety prevents cultural dominance of one social style. Now let's talk about chapters again and cost savings. When chapters actively share lessons learned across squads, duplication drops. You don't rebuild the same CI mistake 3 times. You don't rediscover the same edge case bug. You don't over-engineer in isolation. That's not fluffy morale, that's financial efficiency. High collaboration equals lower rework. Lower rework equals saved money. Saved money equals strategic flexibility. And here's something powerful for squad energy. When someone assists another squad or stays late to unblock integration, don't reward overtime, reward the collaboration publicly. Short acknowledgement, simple language. It reframes heroics into collective pride. Now let's address the personality dynamic you mentioned earlier. Some engineers want precise instructions, clear boundaries, predictable structure. If Agile feels chaotic to them, they won't engage, they'll retreat. So don't remove structure in the name of empowerment. Define working agreements explicitly. How long is stand-up? How do we escalate blockers? When do we use async versus sync? What does done mean? Structure creates safety. Within safety, collaboration flourishes. Now let's bring it back to the source material. The Agile Manifesto says, and I quote, "Build projects around motivated individuals. Give them the environment and support they need and trust them to get the job done." The environment, support, trust. It says build around them, so revitalizing Agile is really about restoring environment. An environment is built through squad composition, chapter energy, facilitation rotation, inclusion practices, and cross-team bridges. It's architectural work, but on the human layer. Now let's be calm about this. We didn't ruin Agile, the world shifted. Remote work reshaped networks, metrics hardened, communication patterns evolved. But we can tune it, and when we do, something powerful happens. Energy rises, learning accelerates, defects drop. Engineers stay longer, money is saved through lower friction, and most importantly, people feel proud of how they build together. That's the real return on investment, not just output, but sustainable, high-energy output. And that's what great engineering leadership looks like in this era. Not louder dashboards, stronger systems. And stronger systems are built by people who remember the intent and design accordingly.